Hello Virgo, Virgo rising and Virgo moon people. This is your monthly astrological forecast for December 2016. And a quick reminder for you guys, remember these monthly horoscopes are meant to be sort of a forecast of more of the sweeping seasonal themes and changes that go on throughout the month. If you're looking for something a bit more on the weekly or even on the day-to-day basis, I would definitely recommend checking out the weekly horoscopes that I put up on this channel. The first half of them are always astrology oriented, so if you prefer astrology exclusively, that is still available to you there. So, what is going on with this month? Well, for a lot of Virgo people, the big focus is on the 5th house this month. It's just one of those months where we have a lot of the activity going on in one sign. And that sign is Capricorn, your 5th house of love, romance, creativity, and of course your relationships with your children. So it's a very, very emotionally satisfying and uplifting kind of month. But it does carry a lot of that emotional currency that, we do need to navigate with a bit of grace as well. And it all starts with Mercury moving into this 5th house of love and romance at the very beginning of the month. And it's going to stay there for quite some time because Mercury's going to retrograde here as well. And with Mercury in the 5th, you can usually expect a lot more open, honest communication to be flowing between you and potential romantic partners, yes, but also between you and your children. And this is a great time if you feel like maybe there have been some gaps, maybe things have been getting a bit quiet, or maybe people aren't able to open up or articulate their feelings as well as they could, or maybe they're just not inclined to articulate them as thoroughly as they should. This is going to make things a lot easier. Because in a lot of ways, Mercury works on the communication issues that we might be having, whether it's a lack of communication in general or the communication is just not effective. And so if you've been having those kinds of issues with a prospective partner or a crush, or again with one of your kids, we're kind of putting it through a bit of communication therapy this month for sure. This is also a great time though for those of you who have been hoping to maybe speed up developments in a new budding romantic relationship. Maybe you're kind of in that honeymoon phase. The 5th house rules sort of the honeymoon area, and even a lot of you who are in established relationships are going to quickly speed back into a honeymoon phase as well, I'm sure. On the 7th of the month, we've got Venus moving into Aquarius, which is your 6th house of reputation, physical health, and your daily work and your schedule. And with Venus in the 6th house, it's actually a wonderful time for a lot of you Virgos who might be thinking about sprucing up your image, sprucing up your looks a little bit if you're trying to maybe appeal for, some kind of recognition, or maybe just getting the right attention that you want, and you're going through your look, or maybe even just trying to change your physical appearance so that you feel like you look more like yourself. This is actually an important thing to understand, because remember, it is important to look like yourself, not somebody else. And how well we look like ourselves, that's what's really attractive. A person really looking like they do on the inside, on the outside. And it has nothing to do with, superficiality. It has everything to do with self-expression. And as long as we can be a bit more meticulous with it, with that Venus there, the more honest but also attractive that will be. Venus in the 6th house, again, we talk about reputation. A lot of you Virgo people are going to be extremely popular during this time, whether it's popular as in demand, or popular because a lot of people are going to be trying to win you over. And that will actually give you a lot of leverage to work with when it comes to kind of changing the way you operate at the office, or the way people want to position you or schedule you at the office. If you're trying to appeal for a new job opportunity, or you are trying to really ace an interview, Venus in the 6th house just keeps all eyes on you, because it is all about making sure you have the lasting impression and you hold the best impression of the entire group, whoever's competing for this. And again, this energy is going to be with us well into January. On the 13th, we've got a full moon occurring in Gemini, in your 10th house of career, upward mobility, promotions, your status. And with a full moon, we do see a culmination, an ending, and a transition. And it's going to be an energy that lasts pretty much from about the, no, I'm going to say 13th through about the 27th of the month. And this transition could indicate a lot of you Virgo people climbing the ladder. There could be a promotional opportunity in the works for you, or some of you may actually be leaving for a better work opportunity that does promote you simply by moving on. You know, you may be trying to get into management where you are, but then you find out that you could easily get hired as a member of management at another company. And this could actually be something that you give to yourself as a gift or a bit of a raise in status. And the nice thing about this full moon is that it's very friendly to a lot of you Virgo people because it's very well aspected, especially when you consider the fact that it's going to be sextile to Uranus, currently in your 8th house of passive income and shared resources. And so that's going to create an opportunity to kind of share in another person's resources, or maybe even work alongside a more successful partner, or maybe even work for a more successful company, depending on how you want to actually make that switch or that arrangement in your professional affiliations. On the 19th of the month, we've got Mars, the planet of action, conviction, and energy, moving into your 7th house of partnerships. And this is all about your closest one-on-one partnerships, your best friend, your boyfriend, girlfriend, your spouse, your romantic partners, but also even your business partnerships. And Mars, let's talk about conviction, okay? Because we talk about Mars as like this warrior planet, but nobody ever talks about a warrior's honor and a person's word being their bond. And we're talking about bonds with Mars, we're talking about cultivating that kind of relationship where people would take bullets for each other. We're talking about closeness, and getting rid of the unnecessary, dare I say, compulsory sort of, boundaries and proprieties that, kind of get instilled into professional and romantic relationships by contemporary convention. And what this Mars is going to do is basically force you and your closest one-on-one relationships to be more raw with each other. And really, this could bring some conflict, but it also brings more closeness. Because sometimes we have to butt heads because there's a wall put between us. If we've been locking swords, truth be told, we're probably locking shields instead. And this Mars is basically saying, well, to hell with those things. Why do we need to protect ourselves against people we claim, we are in such a strong bond with anyway? But these are tests that come with powerful rewards, and Mars does nothing cheap and easy. Mars is all about rewards through action, labor, and effort. And if you've been feeling like maybe there isn't enough effort being put into a one-on-one partnership, whether it's a lopsided friendship where one friend is kind of tugging the other one along and doing all the work and, always bailing the other person out, or a lopsided relationship where one person's, kind of like the adult or the parent and the other one's the child, or or a partnership where one person's putting in all the energy and all the money and all the investing while the other one just kind of sits and waits and tags along. We are equalizing this, and some people meet equalizing with a certain amount of, let's just say, resistance. But that Mars is going to quell that resistance as well. So it's a very, very strong month for relationships, especially because, again, it kind of tests, well, we're going to give you the opportunity to get as close as you want. Are you ready for that kind of closeness? We also have on that day Mercury turning retrograde in the 5th house of the love, the romance, the creativity, and the relationship with our children. But with Mercury retrograde here, it is talking about, I guess you could say, picking up or retrieving pieces of ourselves from past relationships and from past experiences. This could be picking up pieces of ourselves through interactions with exes and old crushes and old flames. This could be an opportunity to give something a second try between the 19th of this month and about the 12th of January. But more importantly, this is talking about, again, retrieving things that we've left behind that we didn't have any business leaving behind. And this could also have to do with maybe even a relationship that you have to kind of go and re-explore, re-examine that you may have with a parent. You being the child in this situation. But the thing about this Mercury retrograde is that it is talking about getting things back that we've lost. This is talking about retrieving and receiving things that, again, have been left behind erroneously. maybe in haste, maybe things were a bit tough. Doesn't matter. Even if it's justified, doesn't matter. We're going to be getting it back. On the 21st, we've got the Sun moving into Capricorn, into that 5th house as well, but it's talking about healing. It's talking about getting more quality time, more quality experiences, or just, much more substantial bonding opportunities when it comes to, again, the love and romance in the relationship with our kids. Because maybe we've had a lot of quantity, but we haven't had any quality. Sometimes that happens, or it's kind of like, oh my goodness, I wish that my partner and I could do more than just go on dates, or yeah, we do talk a lot, but this isn't counting as quality time. And so I think that sometimes, especially nowadays where everything is about validation, affirmation, and confirmation, we consider attention to be quality time, but when we're talking about close relationships, there needs to be an exchange. And with this Sun moving through here, again, it's kind of focusing a little bit more on how to get more quality time together, or maybe improve on the quality time that we actually have. This is a wonderful opportunity, especially, again, if we've been feeling like we've been drifting away from any of our children, or we may be noticing that maybe one of our children may be sort of drifting away from the family unit. However you define that family unit, the Sun is going to say, if you've been looking for a chance to kind of retrieve, explore, and experience a way to kind of, help fix that, or kind of get more of a handle on what's going on, this is what you want. A week later, we've got a new moon in this area as well, and this is what I think a lot of you Virgos who are thinking about new are going to want to hear, because I'm sure you've probably spent a lot of this whole reading thinking, well, what if you don't have anyone right now? What if it's not happening right now? What if it's not? Well, this new moon is talking about a brand new relationship opportunity for the single and looking. And those of you who don't want to use the Mercury retrograde to maybe go back into the past and you're looking for something fresh and new entirely, this new moon is definitely working for you there. But I will say, during a Mercury retrograde, love aside, don't move too fast. Sometimes when planets are retrograde, especially Mercury and Venus, they have a tendency to want to have everything move quickly to feel better about it. But once we keep going fast, it's impossible to keep up that momentum. Doesn't mean this new partner couldn't actually be a real good thing, but it's very important, at the very end of this year and at the beginning of the new year, we keep things in proportion. Finally, we've got Uranus direct in your 8th house of intimacy, shared resources, self-employment income, as well as your debts and all of that kind of stuff. And with Uranus going direct here, you can count on a lot more opportunity to be supplementing your income, or to get a bit more experimental in the sack, because the last few months have been just a little bit too, boring, I think, for a lot of people. Because when Uranus goes retrograde, it takes away the prompts, the wake-up calls, the interventions from the universe, and the synchronicities. It goes from about 100% down to 10%. And, it's a lesson. We're supposed to not be relying on those things to kind of, guide our life for us. Eventually we have to take our own oar and paddle our own boat. But it is nice to kind of have that help every once in a while, and that's what this Uranus direct is going to be doing for the Virgos. So that is your forecast. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. And of course, if you'd like to get a session, you can always follow the links below, or go to integrativemysticism.com.